Really interesting is research shows that people go to events for the purposes of connecting with others. What I learned from that experience was having to understand exactly what each person was trying to say from their perspective. Always, if you're thinking from the perspective of the customer rather than perspective of your business, you end up creating a much better marketing campaign. I think our greatest challenge when it comes to any marketing, and that's why it's good to have somebody external come in and look at your processes, because we spend so much time in the what do I do.
You're listening to Beyond Growth with Rayan Fernando.
Anna, thanks for coming on and having a chat. Really excited to talk about marketing and AI. I think it's cool couple of topics. Obviously, CEO of Launcha, founder of Flintt, and known as an eventologist. I'm really keen to dig into that.
Ah, yeah.
But thanks for coming on and having a chat.
Thanks for having me. It's going to be really, really fun. I do enjoy doing a podcast and having a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's this is why I'm here too.
It's just hard to, like, sometimes you take the role of the interviewee
I
or the
know,
interviewer
yes.
and you're like,
I know. I was on a podcast, on another person's podcast on Friday, just Jay Burke and Burke Britain Financial. They've got one. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll stop talking and wait for the segue and the change up. So that, it's cool. But look, again, it's conversational. So jump in if you have any questions. It doesn't have to be one-way traffic. But I always ask my guests, before we kick off anything, go deep into all things marketing and AI. Just a quick origin story. Tell us what got you here, and so the listeners kind of know who Anna Osharov is.
So Anna Osharov was born in the former USSR. In Ukraine. We actually left on a humanitarian refugee program when I was 8 and came over to Australia with my mum and my dad. Could not speak any English, but was the first one to learn English in my family. And so I think part of the desire for helping people communicate effectively has come from that. I was the first person, so my grandparents came over, my auntie came over, my parents, and as an 8-year-old, you're first to learn language.
Yeah.
And then you're dragged around as the translator.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, to the shop, to anywhere and everywhere, you're coming because you're the only person that can communicate. And I think what I learned from that experience was having to understand exactly what each person was trying to say from their perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what I think marketing is all around. Marketing communications is how can we understand the pain points and problems of the person who needs the things and what the person who's selling the things is trying to sell, and then build that communication, that bridge for communication. So I believe that part of that is through being the translator for my family, and really being able to understand, like, what is your problem and how can this person solve that problem, and how can I facilitate that communication between you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess that's taken multiple iterations over the time, right? So
many.
And you went from agency account manager, franchisee, educator,
yes,
and now founder. So you've gone through the gamut.
Yeah.
But I think all those experiences make up, I guess, that the value you bring to a business, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I've just been really curious. I've always been really curious to understand how people communicate and function. So I've got a Bachelor of Communications. Again, I didn't really think, I want to do marketing, or I just kind of looked at what the medium of communications entailed. It was communications with a major in multimedia. So it's bringing that technology and that communication side of things together. And so after I finished the degree, I actually went traveling for about 4 years of my life. I worked and managed a pet shop, so again, you learn how to do retail, learn how to do hospitality. You're always just learning how people deal with each other and communicate. And when I came back from travel, I started working in an agency, and a marketing agency, looking after business development first, then account management, and then starting to really learn how businesses function.
Yeah, and it's nice sometimes being in a business and being able to sort of experience that it's already in play, because that's a good learning background as well. But out of curiosity, where did you go travel-wise?
My first travel trip was to Europe. So I did working holiday maker visa. So I spent 6 months in the UK. I spent 3 months working in Newquay, which is southwest. It's in Cornwall. It's where all the Australians go because that's the only surf beach in England. So I spent 3 months there, earned some money, went travel sort of all around Europe, spent 6 months in France, learned to snowboard, which kind of was my next iteration of holiday. Came back, spent 3 months in Brighton, which is south of London.
Yeah.
And then did a bit more travel, came home, realised I'm not ready to be home. Worked for another little bit of time, saved some more money, and off I went to Canada for ended up doing 3 winter seasons in Canada. So snowboarding became a bit of a passion and went all over the world. 3 in Canada, went to Japan, New Zealand, Australia, Europe, Argentina.
That's awesome.
You know, did the whole world travel. I think 39 countries, I think, at last count.
That's unreal. I must admit that's something I've always wish I did. A bit more traveling. Especially the travel and work. That was something that just was really attractive to me. But yeah, just didn't quite eventuate. But
all fun, no responsibility.
That's it. And look, but it's so much learning, right? I think that's the thing where different cultures, and it goes back to your communication piece. Yeah, all of a sudden, especially places like France and Japan, that communication changes considerably, right? And,
Japan's challenging. Nobody speaks English really in Japan. Much easier in today's world.
Yeah.
With the advancement of you've got Google Translate.
Oh, I know, right?
When I was there, that was not quite. I actually remember being in Italy, and I remember I was there with a friend of mine, and we're like leaving the hostel, and we're like, okay, I'm going to remember how to say "Dove stazione," which means where is the station? And I remember coming up to this older gentleman and I was like, I've got this. I'm like, buongiorno, dove stazione? And he's like, stazione bus, train. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't get that far. I didn't think about what type of station, just a station. The rest I can, choo-choo.
Yeah, I had the exact opposite. We were first trip to Thailand and got all excited and we learned some of the language and things like that, and then went there and then everyone speaks English. And I'm like, that was a waste of time.
But people appreciate it when you try, like they're just nicer to you when you actually try to speak their language.
Oh, absolutely. And it was just, and I still have some of the words sticking in the back of my head, but it's, I'm looking forward. Hopefully, going to Japan next year. Hopefully, I think that's that.
Where in Japan?
I don't know, but Tokyo is in the mix. But it's family trip, so not too much adventure per se. But look, I think that whole ability to immerse yourself in another culture. There's a lot of countries you just can't do that as much because, like I said, you go to Thailand. And like everyone speaks English. I'm from Sri Lanka. Even when I go back there, everyone speaks English. I understand Sinhalese, but I can't speak it well. But I can, when I'm there for a while, it comes back, which I love.
Yeah, it's the travels that, so, if we fast forward to today, we've got a team. I've got 2 team members that are in Bali.
Oh, cool.
And they're Indonesian. And I've got a team member who's in Philippines. And obviously she's from the Philippines. They all speak English, but, the 2 people that work for me in Bali, their first language is not English, and some are better than others, and it's really interesting finding that balance. And also, I guess when you go travel, like if when you go to another place, you look at the people there and you think, oh, they're the people that are locals, and I'm not those people, and you make up whatever you make up about those people, and then when I've got people who I work with, they now become part of who I know, and it's interesting to think. I don't think of my team the same as what I do of the,
the rest,
random people walking down the street, but they're just, people who are living their lives, and it's crazy what we make up about human beings.
Oh, that's it. And I had a team in the Philippines as well, previous IT company, and I remember going there and just hanging out with them, like taking out for lunch and things like that. And it's so cool when you just sort of go get face-to-face time and get to just speak to them, especially because it was like a BPO. So they had multiple teams around, and we all caught up for like a Christmas gathering, and just seeing them partying around, having some fun. I'm like, oh, cool. Like it's just, like you said, you try and you feel like you're not connected, but you're so connected as soon as you're there.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think the disconnection is when you do things remotely, it's always a bit harder. But I loved when I just did the visits. I did like 5-6 trips to the Philippines, and that was lots of fun.
Yeah. And like you start to stop looking at people as I'm a foreigner and I'm in their place, or like, you know, that's them and I'm here as a tourist, to, well, we're just all people living our lives. And, you know, we all actually live lives very similarly.
Yes.
You know, even though you're, you know, like your household income might be higher or lower, but, you know, I have my team where we all went out, we went to the clubs. You know, the girls are like, oh, I've got this DJ. I know the DJ. It's like the club. We should go there. I was like, oh, sure. Like, and then you just become part of like their friends, rather than, you know, some people's whose country you've come to visit.
Oh, that's it. My best memory was, so two of the guys that work for us, the two originals that started working with us in the Philippines, they came over for a week, and that was like, for me, and I just went like, all right, I'm just going to give you as much of Geelong as I can, because they stayed, they just stayed up in Newtown, just up the road from here, in like an Airbnb.
Nice.
And they were playing cards and things like that, and I'm like, all right, let's go to the city. So I sort of did a whole bunch of different things with them, and it was just funny. They just quickly found their groove in the space too. Even when I took them to Melbourne, this is funny. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I'll see you in an hour or whatever. And I'm like, oh, what'd you do? It's like, and they just somehow managed to find a collectible place, and then looking at all the collectible cards, because that's just what they were into. And I'm like, sweet. Like, you just found your people here. So quickly.
Anywhere in the world. It's quite amazing.
So cool. So cool. So obviously, huge, you know, obviously a bit of travel, and you come back and you worked in the agency for a while. So I'm curious with regards to, you know, which came first, Launcha or Flintt, and why? So the why behind it.
Both really good questions. So before both Launcha and Flintt, you were asking about the eventologist side of things.
Oh, yes. Yep.
So in 2016, 17, I was going through the growth journey of going from working within a company to working for myself as a marketing freelancer.
Oh, okay.
And so in that space, I completed a number of training courses. So I completed the Speakers Institute Bootcamp, which is a speaker training program, and I completed the DENT, which is still under Key Person of Influence Business Accelerator program. And essentially what I realized in that space was that these companies, along with, you know, companies, you know, as well as like your top tier coaching consulting firms, they make all their money, or they make all of their marketing primarily through events. So they basically run an event. So you go to a free event or to a low paid event, they give you some information, then they upsell you to something, and they sell you into their program.
Yeah.
And I'd attended a lot of these, but I could not find anybody that teaches you how to do that, how that actual concept works.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd have this bright idea. I opened up my own business event venue. It's called the Holistic Business Hub. I opened this in December 2017 in Moorabbin, which is like a...
Got an airport.
Yeah, well, that does have an airport. That is true, but it is not. It's in the southeastern suburbs in Bayside of Melbourne. It's a fairly affluent area. I knew a lot of people in the, especially women in business space there, because that's kind of where I live. So I opened up this business event venue. It was called the Holistic Business Hub.
Cool.
And the idea was to have a venue where people could teach, learn, collaborate and grow. And the Holistic Business Hub, I was going to teach marketing. I would have people that were teaching business, and there would be people that were teaching wellness, because essentially people that do wellness well don't do business well.
Yeah.
People that do business well don't do wellness well. So I thought, you know.
Bring them together.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I'm going to teach people how to do marketing and how to market their events. And what I found very quickly was that people would hire my venue and then say, okay, now you do the marketing for free, which was not lucrative as a business. But we live and learn.
Yeah.
But there was a number of elements that I did learn in there. So number one is that I did understand that running events is still one of the best ways to bring people together, because the moment you're the person who's sitting in front of a crowd that you've brought to yourself, you are the expert.
Yeah.
You are instantly the person in power and in charge, and it's actually yours to lose rather than to gain. You don't have to prove yourself. You just need to be there and shine. And so that was one element that I noticed and realized, that we need to be able to, bring that to the forefront. And so that's where the whole eventology, the art of running events came from. So that's kind of where the word eventologist, but funnily enough, I didn't make it up. My VA at the time was putting together a list of people who run events and just called that list eventologists. I was like, that is brilliant. I am totally adopting that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And so that's where that concept of, the eventology came from. However, what we also realized was that there's actually nobody teaching you the process. And then when you do teach people the process, it's actually a really convoluted. There's like 150 steps in order for you to be able to run a single webinar, a single event, between setting up your landing pages, making sure you've got your database, making sure you've got your email marketing, your social media marketing, making sure that all of that is integrated pre-event, during event, post-event, follow-up. And so I started to build up a program around how that all functions. And so just before COVID, luckily enough, I actually ended up letting the lease go on the Holistic Business Hub and starting to move to training people how to do this from a program perspective. But also what I noticed is I was teaching people how to create and repurpose content, leveraging 5 different platforms. So, you've got Canva, you've got MailChimp of some description, you've got some form of social media scheduling, maybe that's Hootsuite. You've also got your social media creation side of things. I'm like, well, I'm teaching you how to put 5 technologies together. If I can teach a person, we can teach technology.
Yeah.
And so that's where Flintt came from. Flintt essentially is there to help you to take content and repurpose it across multiple platforms based on a campaign outcome. So that's where Flintt came from, and Flintt has been built. We're just about to relaunch. We built it, we launched it, we lost our CTO, and then we had to find a new one, and we're just about to re-release Flintt into the marketplace because even with today's AI-powered systems, in order for somebody to run even an education campaign, so let's just say I want to write a blog, I want to turn that blog into multiple shorter posts, I want to put them out onto social media. Even right now, with all of the AI technology that's available, you still need 3 or 4 programs to do that. Plus, you need to know how to cobble all of that together.
Yeah.
So Flintt was built in order to make that process really simple. So that's the birthplace of Flintt.
Yeah.
Launcha, in its iteration, essentially, again, come from a space of marketing, built a marketing, like a marketing agency. I was doing the training, teaching people how to do this. But again, people get stuck in what? Implementation. So I actually met a person who did my program, came back to me and said, hey, I've just partnered with this person. We're doing a back office solution. Maybe we can help you to sell your program. I'm like, that's a good idea. Let's trial this. So I wanted to see how well their team did the events side of things, and they didn't do it very well. And I went, okay, let me teach you. And I said, look, I'm training your team members to do this work. And the whole purpose of this is so that we can find clients. People come through our program. At the end of the program, they need someone to implement. So we end up training the team. The team focuses solely on how to do currently launch marketing, and launch marketing primarily for events. And then we just end up partnering with other programs like the Speakers Institute. And so we do the implementation side of things, whilst I do the coaching and training inside other people's organizations. So that's kind of how it all
comes together.
Yeah.
Cool.
Big Rubik's Cube of life.
Very interesting. Like I was obviously preparing for the podcast, and I sort of looked at it and I'm like, oh, I am effectively your target market sitting here. So I'm going to pick your brain a bit.
Please, because we want to move into podcast launches. So at the moment we've got event webinar is our number one product. Where I just have a few new clients and we're doing book launches. So we've got 2 or 3 book launches coming up, which is essentially the same thing, but instead of launching your event, you're launching your book in an event. And we want to also focus on podcasts, everything that's presence building.
Yeah.
Build your presence, because we know, especially with what's happening with AI technology and how it's pretty easy to clone a person.
Yeah.
Which isn't a problem, because as long as you know who you are and you've got your face and it's your voice and it's your thoughts, it doesn't matter. It just makes life easier. But what we want to make sure is that you're building your presence, not somebody else is stealing your presence.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And look, I mean, I guess I was coming from multiple angles. So one podcast being one, and totally agree. So with the Flintt idea of, the fact that it's the tech producing this podcast. So for me, the easiest bit is this, the recording bit, but taking this content, putting it together into one video audio file, and then repurposing that video as well. And I joked with somebody the other day saying, my dream would be I record this, I send the files, it gets created. Yeah, it gets, edited, put up straight onto Spotify, scheduled in, shorts are created, the quotes created. I'm starting to do these quotes. It's all me at the moment, and a lot of time in Canva and CapCut.
Two of my favorite platforms.
Oh, they're so good. CapCut on the desktop is phenomenal for the price. I jumped on and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good compared to like anything else I've come across.
I do it all on my phone. I record content everywhere. Because I've just implemented a system with our team. So I do like 5 2-minute recordings for a week, and then the rest is actually repurposed from other people's content and also from our previous content. And so, I'll have a thought, an idea. I'll be like, I've got makeup on. I'm like, oh, today's the day to just do some.
Yeah, you in front of the library the other day.
I was.
Yeah,
I was walking to uni.
Yeah, and that's good. And I think and this is where people need to realize, if they can get comfortable in front of a camera, and that's even more. So it's front of the camera, but in public, in front of the camera, that's another whole level. So you've got a higher
just
threshold.
Stop caring. You just do it enough. And
yeah.
Because you walk down the street, and that's the challenge, right? You walk down the street and you see somebody who's on their phone all looking like, ooh, look at me, I'm recording myself on this device. And, we're all judgy. And so in your mind, you're like, ooh, that person, I'm going to judge you for standing there creating content. And then when it's you, you're like, oh, well, I better not do that because I just judged that person really harshly in my mind.
Yep.
So I'm not going to do it. But after a while, and this is one of the things that I learned, this was in Speakers Institute. It's like on the one side, and really through even like personal development, through Landmark, etc. Like on the one side, you've got looking good. On the other side, you've got making a difference. And so, at some point, we just have to remember that I'm not creating the content for the purposes of, just me. Like I have a vision and an idea, and there's a purpose for my business and what we do. And at the end of the day, the more people we can bring into our proximity, the more people we can impact so they can impact others.
Yeah.
That's all that comes at the end of the day, right? And so if I have to sit in front of the Melbourne Museum and get my phone out and just talk into it, and someone's going to walk past me and judge me or whatever, that's their problem.
Yeah, true. That's so true. And look, I do struggle with that. I do struggle with this is my safety space. Like I've got it. I can, and I make content here really well. I don't mind presenting in front of people, and part of my role is to facilitate days for leadership teams. So that has to happen. That's natural for me. But yeah, I do struggle with that whole phone in front of me sort of things. But my secret for that, or my secret sauce for that, is to have someone record it. For me, if I have someone filming me, my confidence is there to go. So I had that, I was recording a bunch of other things in Geelong, and I had Sam Silver, who does some great social media work in Melbourne and Geelong, and he sort of filmed it for me, and it made a massive difference because I had someone to bounce off, and it felt a bit more serious and real. But I do struggle. But there, you do it so well.
I'll give you my. Do you want to hear my process?
Please do.
It's very quite easy. So I walk down the street and I'm like, okay, I just had this thought. Let's just say I want to do a 2-minute video after we do this. So I'll be like, ChatGPT. I have a chat that's specifically for social media inspiration. I'll be like, so I'd like to record a social media post. I'd like to talk about the power of connection and the power of connecting through visibility. So the other day I was writing a podcast for the Magic Mangoes, blah, 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 blah. It was put up onto LinkedIn, and all of a sudden I got this random message from this really cool guy, and he said, hey, do you want to come onto my podcast? And I thought, what a great opportunity. Had I not have said yes, yes, yes to all of these things, then maybe I wouldn't have ended up right here. Now I've got this opportunity to connect with a wider audience. And the question might be is how do you connect with wider audience? Or what gets in the way for you to be able to be more visible? ChatGPT. ChatGPT then writes me a script that's about a 2-minute script.
Yeah.
I take that, I put it into CapCut. I put it on the teleprompter on CapCut.
Oh. There's teleprompter in CapCut?
Teleprompter on CapCut. Copy, paste.
That is such a game changer.
Yeah, on your thing, and you're just talking to yourself, right? But it's on there, so you're not even concentrating on anybody else around you. And I think the only thing we need to get good at with that is learning how to still be animated.
Yes.
Whilst reading from a teleprompter. My friends are like, sometimes you use your hands so much that I'm watching your hands rather than listening to what you're saying. So it's good when you've got subtitles because your hands aren't getting in the way for whatever reasons. But it just makes it so easy, right? And then straight in there you can isolate your voice, you can reduce your noise, you can put in. Yep.
That is magic in CapCut.
Yep.
Love that.
Put in your put everything in, and I upload it to our Google Drive. I put the captions are written by AI. Yeah. I copy and paste those. I tag a team member and with her name like as a comment on the video, and
off it goes.
And like the whole process, from start to end might take, depending on how well versed I'm feeling in reading the teleprompter, it'll be, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes and you've got the whole thing done.
Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't know about the teleprompter. That is unreal. Because that's the bit that gets me.
Because that's the challenge, right? If you've got somebody else filming you, you can't see.
Yeah. That's what I had with Sam. Because I was like literally reading notes just to read and then speaking, and I found like towards the end, because I did the 4 hours worth of it. Towards the end, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
probably
tiring.
Yeah, because it's just one of those things, and we try to do a lot at once. But I was good. I got some good content, but I do prefer this. I prefer this content of talking. It's nicer, but teleprompter, that is so
it's
cool.
amazing. Yeah, and it's just so quick to make clips, and then. I think people like seeing what your background is, right? It's nice that it was in front of the Melbourne Museum and it was the State Library.
Yeah.
Or it's nice that you've got something there that's not.
That's and that's what I did with when I was filming. I was filming around Geelong.
Yeah.
So the background was people familiar with, so it makes a massive difference. All right, I'll try that. Challenge for 2026. A few more of those things.
And you know what? With these things, the more you do them, the less you care.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Like I don't know if you remember I remember doing my first Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So I had my venue and I set myself a challenge, let's do one Facebook Live a day for 30 days. I think I got to day 23 and then I got bored. But I just clearly remember sitting there, with my phone, and I used to do my own teleprompter. I'd put a Post-it note and I'd have like the heading and like the 4 dot points that I want to talk about because you know your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd record sort of like a, 5 to 10 minute video, and I remember the first time I'd have people, because people would comment, right? My friends are like, smile, Anna, because I'm like, hello, I'm just going to talk like a robot at this because that's what needs to happen, right?
Yeah,
and then after a while you get better, and then, you've got X, I don't know how many videos out there, and then you stop caring.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was Instagram Lives. So that's kind of where I sort of cut my teeth when it came to this kind of podcast stuff. Just a lockdown I used to run Instagram Lives every Saturday night with a bunch of barbecue people.
Oh, fun.
So I would interview a local barbecue person in Victoria because we all couldn't leave our house. Captive audience, had good viewership because of that. But yeah, so that was it. But I remember my first few were like, oh man, like I was pausing, waiting for people to come on, and then when it got recorded and posted, you'd have that weird minute or two at the start, which kind of like you're just waiting for people to come, and then to his iterate, and it got to a point where it's like, as soon as it went live, I'd do the intro, start talking, and do what I need to do, and I had my little phone on a mount with the notes below it, and it just became more professional, and the more you did it, so that led me to basically doing some stage interviews at Meatstock, which is the barbecue festival around Australia. Just throwing my pen around.
That's all right.
Glad it landed on that thing though.
It did. It was very good.
So much easier to get it. But yeah, that was it. And then that's kind of all led to this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great perfect example. Like you start with something, get out of your comfort zone.
And, it's the exact same thing when people talk about AI. Because I guess it's so in my proximity at the moment that I just thought everybody, and then I do Brazilian samba drumming. So I go to a Brazilian samba drumming class every
good.
Thursday night. That's my only musical outlet. That's I still don't call myself a musician. They're like, but you play. I'm like, yeah, I don't do anything other than this. However, there's a girl there and she said to me the other day, ever since you've been doing your videos on AI, I've been, using it for more things. And I'm like, wow. My friend who, she's a director at a childcare centre, only like last month, she goes, I just discovered ChatGPT and how it can help you with like emails. And I'm like, oh yeah, I discovered this 2 years ago when it first came out. But you just assume that because it's in your proximity all the time that people are also using a lot of the different AIs. And since, I've been interviewing people around how do you use AI in your life, there's actually a lot of people that are still very much stuck on just the one thing, which is ChatGPT, and they have not deviated from that. And then other people you talk to that haven't, they're just like, I don't even know where to start. And it's the same thing. You just jump on and you give it a go, and it makes it's actually really simple to do. The simple tasks with technology are usually really well catered for. Like I think since Apple brought out their intuitive, system of how to do things on your phone, where like a 1-year-old can pick up your phone now and like unlock it and like find YouTube and start watching a video. You're just like, wow.
I know.
If you can do that, I'm sure that a person of any age, provided they have some semblance of how, a phone works, can download or get onto ChatGPT and start to have that conversation.
So, Anna, how do you use AI?
That's a good question. So, as I've been
just day to day,
day to day.
Yeah.
I guess I'm now just started to test what it's like to use some of the AI browsers on your computer. So I've been using Comet and Atlas, which is your Perplexity and your ChatGPT browsers. That's been quite interesting to have the assistant in there. I did trial to have Perplexity do some email, like unsubscribe from my promotional emails, but I didn't leave it open long enough. I just thought I'd see how that would go.
Yep.
But I primarily, within my personal day-to-day life, I probably use it less than what I do for work, but then works for me kind of all the time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so, I'm going to Bali. I've got a team in Bali, so I've been going back and forth from Bali. This will be my third trip in the last 12 months, so every 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm going with my partner this time, and he went last time. But this time he was supposed to work there for the first week and a half, and then we have Christmas, and then we come back, and then he's there for a week and he leaves.
Yeah.
And he called me to say that that he actually was not cleared to work overseas this time, and so he essentially has more time off. And at first I got a bit panicky because I'm like, I have to go there and I have to push myself to do work. And it's hard when like you're working and your partner can just go and do whatever they want, right?
Especially in Bali.
Yeah, totally. And I'm like, I need you to make a plan also, because I'm just concerned that if we go there and you're doing whatever you want, I'm going to get no work done. It's because I'm selfish like that. And then the way that my brain works is I made a list. So I'm like, okay, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give myself a task-oriented list of what are the things that I'd like to achieve. So I was like, I want to complete writing my book. I want to start a new podcast. I want to plan our marketing campaign for the start of next year. I want to record the assets for that marketing campaign. I also want to, do some, workshops and personal development. I want to have some fun. I want to do some travel. And so I made this list. And then inside ChatGPT, I have, different threads. And one thread is more about sort of my personal, like, Anna's life type of thing. So I've put in there things like my Gallup strength test outcome. I've put things there like my, body physical cycle. I've put things like my Enneagram and my human design, etc. And so I took this list and I put it into ChatGPT and I said, hey, help me structure what my day-to-day would look like based on this list of tasks, because Blair, my partner, is blah, 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 blah. It came back with...
Just give me 30 seconds. If your business is serious about certification and trust, you need to check out ISO 365. They make ISO compliance simple, practical, and sustainable by building your ISO systems inside the Microsoft 365 tools you already use. No extra software, no hidden license fees, just real control and ownership of your compliance. I love the work that ISO 365 does because they don't just hand you templates and walk away. They become part of your team as virtual compliance officers, guiding you from gap assessment through to certification and long-term compliance. If you want compliance that actually works for your business and helps you win trust and new contracts, check out ISO 365. And now back to the show.
Oh, Anna, my darling, I can hear your distress. You can let your frustration out on me. Let's plan something for you that's going to serve you, my darling one. I'm like, oh my God, you're so patronizing, but also you are correct. I am a bit stressed, and this does sound like I'm a bit
It's
anxious.
actually saying darling?
Yeah, it says my dear one.
Right.
It actually said, oh, my dear one. I can feel the anxiety and the stress. You can leave that with me. Let me help you do this based on blah.
And is that off the back of you, the way you talk to it?
Nah, I think it's just because this particular feed is the one that's like all about your personal life. Because if I put that same into like my chat that's about like building Anna's, presence online, it talks to me like direct.
Yeah.
Like, like
I've never had that sort of.
Yeah.
I'm like, your chat GPT is a lot nicer.
But it was so it sounded so patronizing,
Yeah.
Oh dear one, I can hear, and this is the voice that I'm imagining it
Yeah,
saying. It might not be using that
It's
voice.
all robotic.
But so it's very interesting how depending on, which thread you're speaking to, even though it's the same, like it's all the same chat GPT that I use for business and life, etc. But if you're using the thread that has all of your, I think I've got a project that's like Anna's personal development project, and then you've got the business project, and the personal development talks to you like it's your life coach.
Yeah, that's unreal. Yeah, it's. I must admit, I don't think I go a day without doing something with AI, and especially in the GPT, the chat GPTs and stuff. And I use Sintra, which is just a whole bunch of little mini agents you can use as well.
Yeah.
That's handy. Lots slower than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Just like, and it just like, it just annoys me because I give it a command and then instead of like just like giving me idle time, it'll put words like, I'm come up with an idea, and just like,
I'm thinking.
I'm like, I don't care.
Think faster.
Yeah, just shut up and just give me the answer. But the biggest one I found for me was when I was coaching my son's under 11 soccer team, and I would take stats during the game, and then I would come home and I would just literally read out the stats. And then I said, okay, give me a summary, and then I would copy that summary and I'd give it to the parents. And the parents like, oh my God, Ryan, how have you got all this time to do that? And I go, it's just, it's AI. But like it just
so fast.
Yeah, and just because by the time if I typed that all out, it's unreal. So the voice is something that I reckon is so good.
Do you speak to it like so I speak and transcribe. So as in when I go to ChatGPT, you've got the options, you can type it in.
Yeah.
Then you've got the microphone where you speak, but then it transcribes what you've said and then answers it, or you've got the voice AI back and forth.
I transcribe,
Yeah, I transcribe as well. Although I've had somebody say if you speak to it, it then picks up the nuances in the way that
like
you actually speak.
And
then it tends to give you a better, I guess, more like you response. But I haven't found that I don't know, I just find that doesn't catch what I'm saying well enough, and then it starts speaking to me and I'm like, where's the written bit? I get lost.
I tested the speaking with the Meta's AI, and that was that I found frustrating because it just didn't know when to not cut in. So I'm just like brainstorming, talking to it. So if it's transcribing, it just transcribes all that and does it. Whereas if you're brainstorming with it, it's like, and it starts talking, I'm like, no, shut up.
Stop.
Yeah. Like, what? Not yet. I'm not ready yet. And then I just get frustrated. I'm like, no, you know what? Forget about it. It's super handy. But I think, like you said, you just got to start. And start to use it. And and I think the paid versions of ChatGPT is probably something recommended. Yeah, I pay for Sintra, and it's good. But at the same time, I think paid ChatGPT will be far better. Far better.
Yeah, I pay for ChatGPT. I have Gemini.
Oh yes, the
Google
new Gemini is
yeah.
unreal.
But I think because I've got a Google business account, that comes as part
Built
of
in,
that.
yeah.
And then Perplexity, I've got a Optus phone, and Optus has a deal with Perplexity. So you
really?
get 12 months of Perplexity Pro for free on Optus. So I'm just trying to work out what works best on what. But it'll be really interesting to see what happens in the next, couple of years and how all of that progresses, and because their back-end system is kind of all the same as well.
Well, this is the conversation I'm having now. It's like I'm sick of having multiple places to go. So yeah, ChatGPT for Sintra. I use HeyReach, which is cool for LinkedIn marketing side of things, and that's kind of the reason I kind of got rid of my assistant, because it's just like I could AI this. HeyReach that I use. Plord is really good for meeting note taking, but also taking podcasts and transcribing, and then I can ask it for quotes, like give me the best quotes from this podcast. I'm like, because that's to try and listen to a podcast and try and get those will take forever. Where it's like, it just gives you this thing. So, that's 5 off the top, and I've probably got a bunch of others I use as well.
Yeah,
and it's just be cool to bring them together, but at the same time, then you create this. I come from the world of IT, where a ticketing system will buy a remote management system, will buy the documentation system, and all of a sudden you've got this mammoth organization that has so much control and can charge you whatever the heck they want, and that's dangerous as well.
But even, right now, the two of the major AI platforms are owned by 2 of the major IT players. So you've got Microsoft that looks after ChatGPT. They basically bought OpenAI. You've got Google that runs Gemini.
Yeah.
And they're 2. And then you've got Meta that's now going to apparently have access to all of your DMs, all of your voicemails, and is going to feed it into its own AI system. And there's like videos on how do you turn that off so that Meta is not taking all of your data, which they have been doing for years anyway, because we all know that you talk about some random thing like, where do I buy brown shoes from? And all of a sudden you've got these ads for brown shoes in your Instagram. You're like, it's not listening to me.
Yeah, I know. It's frightening. I think I have this thing. Who do you trust? If I say Microsoft and I say Google, which one do you trust more?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like they're slightly different to each other, because Microsoft is like that's trusted by like the major organizations, right? So funnily enough though, if you're allowed to use Copilot in most enterprise models, Copilot still runs through ChatGPT and it's still owned by Microsoft, and yet you can't use just ChatGPT, you have to use Copilot because it's safer.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
It's a good. I'm like,
because I have. Look, my personal one is I don't know what it is, but I have this innate trust of Google.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I can't quite put my finger on it. Like I love Apple, and I work in that area, and I love Windows, and I'm running a tablet here that's actually Windows, but ultimately it's not a tablet, it's a laptop. But there's no Windows tablets I'd ever use. But in saying that, but I just felt like this innate trust with Google, with everything they do, and I don't know whether that was off the cuff. By the way,
I think with Google, and so I also teach marketing and at RMIT University. It's another one of the things that I like to do. Yeah. It's fun.
Crazy.
It is crazy. So that actually eventuated because I went to an event in 2020, and it was like a Melbourne entrepreneurs event, and they had like a Christmas event where all the people that have spoken previously were invited, and one of the people on the panel was the program manager for marketing, comms and public relations at RMIT, and she said, if anybody is looking to do some teaching, come speak to me. And I thought, it's always good to have. And I did my training and assessment Cert 4 when I quit my job to, do whatever it is that I'm going to do with my life. So I started with that. But what I try to explain to our students, which they forget about, is like Google's number one job is to make Google great for its users for free. That's its job. Because what does it do? It takes our data and then sells that data for money to businesses. And so what they've done incredibly well is understood, what do I need as a user to see, so that I can constantly keep coming back to Google. Like there's other search engines.
Is there?
That's right. Is there? But who uses them?
I know one person uses Bing. One person uses Bing.
Yeah, anybody that has a company that says you're not allowed to use anything but Microsoft products, and then when you do a Google search like at RMIT, it comes up with the Yahoo, which is Bing. I'm like, I don't want to use Bing. Give me back to Yahoo. Google.
I know. It's anyway.
It's a good question.
No, I think it is, and for me, Google's kind of where I sort of is where my security blanket from a technology point of view. Yeah. And I use the other spaces, but it kind of like a lot of my data lives there. Multi-secured it, all that stuff, and multi-layered. But I think you're right. I think that's the thing. The difference is if you think about like even Meta, I feel like Meta and X and Twitter and all that's like those two, they just seem like, even the likes of TikTok, I just feel like they want your attention.
That's right.
They want your attention. They want your data, and they're not there to help. They were there to help at the start, especially Facebook. I felt like Facebook at the start. I'm like, oh my God, I can connect my family. This is great. I'm seeing their photos. We can blah, blah, blah. I remember before Facebook, I used to run a family page because I had family living here, family in Sri Lanka. Mm-hmm. There was no Facebook, so I used to just do pick photos. I should just put them up there so they could see. And I ditched that as soon as Facebook came around. But yeah, it was just, that's why it started. But now it's just such a
behemoth.
Yeah. And then like the whole listening in, looking at your data. And I do a bit of barbecue content creation for a few years now. If I wasn't doing that, I don't think I would have a Facebook account. I don't think I'd have an Instagram account. Except for posting, just business stuff now.
Yeah, that's also interesting because I speak to my students about these things and, they've come obviously from a different generation. And so they don't, when I say, do you use Facebook? They say no. And then when I delve into it, well, they do. They use Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
They use Facebook groups only for community groups in their local area because that helps. And they'll use it for messenger purposes.
Yes, same.
Whereas, they'll use Instagram and TikTok because their age demographic is, the median age is, say, 22. But what I was thinking about as we were talking about Facebook, they're like, I don't know what to do on it. Like there's so much on there that I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking around, well, Facebook came out. When Facebook came out, I was like a user, right? And so everything that they've released, we adopted as it was released. So, whichever came next, so your Facebook feed, cool, I know how to use this. Then maybe came groups. Okay, cool, I learned how to use this. Then there came events. Okay, cool, I know how to use this. And it was a layered approach, whereas if you jump on now, you're just like, who, what, when, how much. And so it's a much harder learning curve.
True.
And they don't give you a user onboarding for how to use Facebook.
And I just wish they turned off the suggested people to follow posts. Like I feel like that is all I see. But I think that's almost off the back of no one using it as much.
Yeah, but still the highest used daily platform globally.
That's crazy.
And it still has the highest usage of people, but it is the first one to have it plateaued.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's getting less people signing up to it than what it had done previously.
Yeah. And I guess that's where things like TikTok and Instagram are attractive because it is the one thing. Even though they're trying to do different things now as well. But yeah, you would literally post a video, post a thing, and that's kind of it.
Just the one thing. Yeah.
Geez, I rode the waves of Instagram reach back in the day.
But if you think about Mark Zuckerberg, right, and starting Facebook, as an entrepreneur, like as a person who has a vision to build something and put it into the world, like I don't think that he would have ever thought, oh, I'm going to build this thing that eventually will have the power to sway government decisions on like, or like be able to corrupt political outcomes, or, you know, have something that's going to have the power to like bully kids and, you know, create like, you know, a high range of like suicidal ideation within younger children. Like these are things that would have, I'm guessing, would have never occurred to, you know, a 20-something-year-old or 20-year-old Mark Zuckerberg. And then imagine even being in that position to have to be like, whoa, here's this thing that I thought about. Oh, I'm going to, whatever.
Help.
Help.
Because he came from a place of helping, right? Yeah.
It's also questionable, but.
Yeah. They all want to make money. Underlying there's always cash in play.
Yeah, but that's also okay.
Yeah,
I think that's what has to happen, right?
But otherwise you can't survive.
Nothing
right?
comes from nothing.
Yeah.
You can't continue to give Facebook for free. Like when people complain, I hate Facebook, I'm like, well, don't use it.
Yeah.
It's a free platform. You don't have to be on it.
No, that's true.
I hate what Instagram's doing. Don't use it.
Well, yeah, like I said, love-hate relationship with Instagram.
Yeah, that's it.
I miss the days. There was a while there. I went for like 12 months with like 500,000 reach on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was just
great.
organic too, not just purely organic video reach. And I was like, and I was just posting once a week. I was posting once a week, one banging video at the same time every week, and I just maintained it. And that was the good days. So it's hard when you have these peaks and now you get like 200 view and you're like, oh God, this sucks. But I think and I always reflect, and we obviously off script completely, but I always reflect on the world and go like, what if Facebook didn't happen? And go like, where would we be? But it's
MySpace would keep going.
I used to like MySpace. I know MySpace. Yeah, that's true. It absolutely destroyed MySpace, didn't it?
I'm really interested to see what happens with how AI starts to bring in the social media side of things, like Sora 2, which I don't think has still been released in Australia.
Okay.
But the actual...
Just for people listening, what's Sora 2?
Good question. So Sora 2 is OpenAI's video creation tool. Yeah.
Yep.
And they've built it so that it can replace, like it can take scenes of, I think the ones that I've seen the most of are things like wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you replace yourself with a thing and then you see people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's created by Sora 2. Right. It's integrated into platforms that we can use in Australia, but it as its own thing. You now can post your Sora 2 videos that you create in Sora 2 in the Sora 2 platform, and then people can like them and see them and communicate, right? And so I went to a conference in Dallas in Texas. It was a Go High Level conference in October this year, and one of the, I think, developers from ChatGPT OpenAI was there, and people were asking questions around, are you not going to create this more of a social media side of things? And they're like, well, we don't think we need another social media platform, and yet we still want to be able to get engagement and reach, etc. So it'll be interesting to see how the social media side of the world works with the AI side of the world and where all of that is going to go, because AI is now in everything, right?
Yeah.
Every tool you have has an option to have an AI support chat agent, because it can just have so much more data and so much faster than what any human can come back with. So
yeah, absolutely, it's phenomenal, and Sora 2 is unreal. Like just what it can do, and you sort of look at it and you look at it from a marketing lens, and I think this is it's funny. So go back 10-ish years ago, and I remember when Office 365 came in. So for a small business to have professionally hosted emails and function in that space was so much easier with that coming through. So that allowed people just to already just lift the game a little bit, right? And that was just simple email, simple communication, right? And then we're coming into a space now where if you're a small business, the amount of AI tools you can implement, like I listed the 5 I sort of play around with, but it just allows me to do so much more in the little time I have you know. And then I think if you think about it, fast forward 3 plus 5, 3 years, say 3 years is going to feel like a lifetime in the AI space. I reckon the stuff we're going to be able to do, especially in marketing and sales, and just to be able to, capitalize on the things like video creation, and obviously still need to back up and be able to deliver, but it's going to be unreal, isn't it? And what are you seeing? What are you hearing in that space?
Well, look, the latest conversations that I've been having is that you can literally get AI to build your whole business. Because right now you've got vibe coding, you've got your agentic AI, you've got your chat AI technology, and all of that can start to do research, do data, etc. And you can literally say, hey, I'd like to build a digital online business that's going to yield X amount profit versus X amount investment. It will take this much time for us to be able to do. These are the what systems and processes would you recommend to do that? And then you can just make it build it. And then what can we do so that which part of this do you do, meaning the AI part of it, and which do I have to do?
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, no matter who you are, what you do, business is still going to require somebody to do something.
Yeah.
But like if you don't actually care, it's people that are like, I genuinely feel that people that are sociopathic, narcissistic personalities can make heaps of money because you don't care what the output is. All you're caring about is how well it functions and how well it works.
Yeah.
And it can sell itself.
I mean, that's where it's at, right? And you're so right.
It can sell itself.
So all of a sudden you just come up with the idea, and it can materialize using all the tools and things like even Replit. What that's doing it's like a online. You can do like spoken programming and creating applications.
Vibe coding.
Yeah, it's unreal, right?
And there's the Replit, there's Lovable, but essentially the back end, you can literally go into like Claude helps you code.
Yep.
So my partner in business, Joe, he's been working a lot on the AI side of coding and vibe coding and building.
Yeah.
And, he's got there's a space that you keep all of your data, Vertex, I think something called. Okay. Then you've got your Claude, which does the building, and then you've got the hosting side of things, and all of those things work together. And we literally have just been doing our proposals. So I have a meeting with a prospect. I say, hey, Joe, let's create a proposal. I send him like the voice thing that I've recorded. He puts it into his systems, which basically is vibe coding through Claude to another to whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it provides a fully functional proposal. It looks like a landing page. It's like, here's the proposals, here's the the objectives, here is the timeline, here's the cost, here's it linked straight to your Wise account so that they can pay it. And it looks like on brand and professional to the point where I'm concerned it looks so professional that people will think that it's too good for them. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes I look at what businesses get away with in a way, because coming from a background of marketing and especially design, and you kind of you want things to look beautiful, yeah. And so you've got books there. Books all have got nice covers, etc. But then sometimes you look at people that don't have as much money or as much know-how on how to make something beautiful, and they still are able to go out and make money. And sometimes they're more trustworthy because it's not a schmick. And
yeah, but that's the almost the human not the human yearning, but ultimately that's kind of the authenticity is kind of the bit
that's right
we're looking for, right?
That's right, and that's going to continue to be more and more prevalent. If you think ChatGPT has literally been around for 2 years. It was released in November 2023, had the fastest uptake of any digital platform. I think they went from 0 to 1 million users in 24 hours.
Wow.
Which blew my mind at the time. But if you think about that to what's happening 2 years later, we have at least 5 different AI platforms that all do slightly different things. Then we've got vibe coding that's just come out, which you, as you said, you talk to it. You can type it. You can literally talk to it. And you'll be like, hey, can you build me this web app that's going to do all of these things? And you can go to ChatGPT, ask it to do the new J whatever prompt for you. Take that J whatever prompt, put it into your vibe coding. The vibe coding spits you up a page or multiple pages, and the reason it does it well is because it's got a back end of like examples that it uses to create your stuff from, links it all together, and then you just talk to it and so can you change these words to this? Can you move this logo up a bit? Can you? And it just
I know.
does it straight away. Then it's hosted and you can plug it into your CRM, you can plug it into, and like that's just going to continue to grow. And I think it's going to get to a point where you're just limited by your imagination.
And that's, and I mean, this is something you sort of talk about. Like I've got I got 2 kids and, what do they want to do when they grow up? But I think the answer is like, I don't know as part of that, but ultimately you could, like you said, literally do anything. I think there's that, what's your imagination? And the cost of, using vibe coding tools is so minimal in comparison to having a whole room of developers
100%
doing stuff, right? So we're heading into some interesting territory.
And then you have the existential crisis. You're like, we all live in this world that's not in alignment with anything that's actually real.
Yeah.
That world, like we spend our whole time on the internet. What is the internet? We have like, I remember when your phone, right, you can now pay with your phone through your bank, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything to the hardware of your phone. It just all of a sudden went from you can't to you can.
No, you can now.
And nothing changed. Physically, nothing changed. I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And that's just the world that we continue to live in. And, the questions around like with children, what do we teach them? Like, why do you need to know how to do, I don't know, long division?
But I think this is a thing where I think we still need to, I guess, for people to come up with those ideations and ideas, they still need knowledge to go like, what if we did this based, I don't know. So I hate long division, but I was never a maths person, but ultimately, that's the thing. So I think kids still need to learn because then I think they just have this huge potential of going like, maybe like you're a teenager and going like, I could do, what if we did this and this? And then instead of like speaking to your parents who might be like, don't be silly, son, you literally jump into ChatGPT, have a chat, come up with the idea, and then you've got a bunch of tools that maybe a couple $100 worth of subscriptions, and you start to build that. It's ridiculous, right?
It is ridiculous.
What a teen can do now, and what was I doing? Not a lot. It was a lot of. I mean, I think we used to call it mindfulness back in the day. Just did nothing for like weeks, especially school holidays. We just
and it'll like they're bringing in a law around people under the age of 16 can't use social media. I wonder how long it'll be until people under the age of blah can't use AI because right now they're currently diagnosing, mental health disorders that are perpetuated by AI. Yeah. Like ChatGPT just tells you what you want to know. Yeah. It doesn't give you any unless you say to it, like, be adversarial to me or think about what are the wrong parts or stop talking to me like, oh, darling one. It just talks to you like that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So it'll be interesting to see, at what point do they ban people under the age of whatever from even being able to use the technology.
Because that's the fear. The fear is like, I'm using it in my 40s. So I've got 40 years of learning experience and all that stuff, right? And true, I still probably not using my brain as much anymore because I can fast track a lot of things. But the fear is a kid or child who's 12, 11 or whatever, using a ChatGPT to learn things means they're just not getting things into their brain.
No critical thinking.
And they've done tests with that where people have created, written 2,000 word essays, and other people that have used ChatGPT to create it, and they've gone back to them and go, okay, can you talk about what you wrote? And obviously people that use ChatGPT just couldn't recollect it as well or even nearly enough. And that's the concern where if people can bang things out, you lose that critical learning.
That's right. And I was having an interview with somebody and we were talking about this, and I thought, today, the reason that you or I can jump on and save so much time is because you've got, 20 years of experience of how it should be. So when AI spits something out, you're able to look at it and go, this is right or this is not right.
Yeah.
And then you're able to understand whether what it's doing is actually usable. You know, I had a team member who she created a proposal for a client, for a prospect via ChatGPT, and I just thought I'd let her roll with it. So she's presenting this. And I'm looking at what she's doing, and then after a while I'm like, okay, so how do you envision that we implement this particular part?
Mm.
And she's like, oh, I don't know. It's just what ChatGPT
It's
suggested.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you don't have the knowledge of whether it's implementable or not. And after time, if we just keep going down this pathway, people won't have the experience of implementation to be able to provide feedback back into the machine.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, and that's why I do hope they'll block some sort of AI early days, because then think about it generationally. We're like almost instilling like that, removing the knowledge
or the need to know.
But that will then stifle other things like our creativity, our thoughts, our ideas, because then we'll go to AI to come up with ideas. But again, that's when the AI overlords take over, hopefully, and just look after us. So look, it's interesting. I feel like it's we've gone.
We're still talking marketing and AI. Come on.
But I think it is really interesting in the sense of like I love the decades I was born in. I'm glad I experienced life in Sri Lanka for 10 years and what it was like to have power cuts and what it was like to, have bad, not really good public transport, lacking public transport. So when I came to Australia, I'm like, oh, cool, we got electricity all day. This is great. We've got a car, we can drive, and telecommunication, color TV, and like I felt like we just had like a
unique.
We had the uniqueness in that sense, right? And then coming up with internet rather than being born into the internet.
That's right.
So remembering dial-up, remembering having to take an extension cord from the kitchen.
Remembering when you had to go to the library to get books to be able to learn something. And then when Google first came out, and you're like, oh my God, this is like cheating.
Yeah.
It tells me everything just there.
I know. And I think it is. And I think, but I don't know. It's just, it's cool to see. And I can't wait to see what's coming. But I guess like coming back to that idea of, talking about Launcha and in regards to a small business wanting to launch something, because that's kind of where we started this.
Yeah. Yep. This is kind of why we started this.
I'm bringing it back. But I think, you're saying launching obviously a podcast, but even a book or an event. So I've done a few sort of event-based stuff very poorly, and that's like presenting what EOS is, and when I said poorly, not the presentation but just the organizing side of things. And you said there's like 120 something steps, right? Yep. Which I totally agree. There is a fair bit to do it properly. But ideally, what are your tips for someone in that space of like, okay, wanting to do events based? I totally agree that event based marketing is, like you said, you're in front of that room and you're talking is so important. So I reckon if there's anything you can help people in getting their mind in the right space, we'd love to hear.
Yep, I can do that. So I think the best way I like to look at these things is to think about your customer journey. So stop thinking about yourself and think about the customer and their customer journey, because what I find happens with events is people are only ever a passenger, which means that if you've ever gone to an event, all you might remember, if you're lucky, you'll remember that somehow you booked the thing. Where and how you booked it, you're not necessarily sure, but somehow you booked it. Then you might remember that you got a ticket and where that ticket went, and then you'll remember going to the event. Then you'll remember things at the event. So you'll remember what the speaker was like. If it's a live event, like in person, maybe there was food, how the people were, etc. But the challenge is you do not think about what got you to the thing in the first place. So the event part of it is actually what is going to get somebody from the awareness of that happening to the consideration phase, through to the decision, through the showing up. right? So if you're thinking about our customer journey, it has 5 phases. This is, any marketing, you have 5 phases. So you've got your customer journey, you've gone awareness. You didn't know, now you know.
Yep.
Generally, awareness comes from I have a problem. Yep. Now I'm trying to find who's got this solution, and I find this person does. Yeah. So that's your awareness. The next phase there is your consideration. That's when you're doing all of your research. This consideration phase is like the most important for a business to get right. And you want to get them from awareness to decision, which is the third one, as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that's where events come in really, really well, because if you can get them to go, I have this problem, you've got my solution, I'm going to come and see you, and you're going to get me from, I don't know anything about you, to purchase in a small amount of time, then that's going to be the best way for you to be able to convert. The next part there is your retention and or usage, and final is advocacy, 5 stages. So if you're thinking about an event for yourself, you need to think about, what do I need to do and where do I need to be visible for them to go from I don't know you to I know you're running an event.
Yeah.
So therefore you need to think about, where do my people hang out and what's the fastest way to get to them. If you're just starting out, like if you're in business, go to a networking event and tell people you're running an event.
Yeah.
Right? You've got a captive audience right there, and just do the minimal things. Have like a registration, have your QR code, have people write their name on a piece of paper, works really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old school.
That's right. And if it's if it's a free event, you need to think about, what's going to encourage people to actually show up?
Yeah.
Because we're all busy. So then we need to think about, once somebody has found the initial invitation, how can I get them as fast as possible to actually register? And if they've registered and it's a free event, I need to make sure that I'm nurturing them and making it exciting for them to come along.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the actual event is not the point. And this is what I say to people all the time. The event itself is not the point. The point is it helps you to bring heaps of awareness to what you do. Nobody other than the people that show up to the event know whether others have showed up or not. So even if you don't do a very good job of it and you've got 5 people there, just get enough social proof to show that there were some people there, and then you push all that back out into the visibility space, right? And then make sure that you do your due diligence in the follow-up.
Okay,
Because it's all the pre and it's all the post that's actually the most valuable for you from a business perspective. It helps you build awareness. It helps you build your authority. It helps you showcase your presence. It gives you a space where you are showing up in front of people in a digital or a non-digital environment, right? And then the pieces to that, ideally you need somewhere for people to be able to book your ticket. You need some way for you to collect their data. You need to then be able to communicate with them after they have bought their ticket to help them show up. If they've paid for it, it's easier because most people don't like to waste money. So you need to make it easy for them. But if they've paid for it, they're going to have more expectations when they show up.
Yeah.
So, you need to balance which one's going to be what, and then make sure that once you've, showed up, you show up well and you be your authentic self and you get as much bang for buck as you can from that one thing. Take videos, transcripts,
yeah, this was going to say that content creation opportunity there is sometimes
massive,
missed.
Yeah. And I think the other thing when it comes to running your event is we need to think about what is the purpose of this event. And what sometimes people do is they try to make it not a single-minded proposition. Like if the purpose of my event, if what I want to do is sell my high-ticket items, so a course or a program, then you need to make sure that you are catering everything so that at the end all you're doing is saying, I'm going to just sell you this, right? Sometimes it can be, I'm actually going to run this event for the purpose of content creation. You can literally run an event once a month and the whole purpose of it is to create content for your marketing, and you just have to show up.
Yeah.
Some people, I've seen lots of people succeed and they'll run networking events, especially like people that have a offering that is for a larger audience. So business coaches running networking events for businesses works really well. Network marketing, people that have a network marketing business that run meetup or networking events do this really, really well.
Yeah.
Right? So we just need to think about it as it's another marketing strategy as part of your business model, but it's an event marketing strategy to continue to build your business.
And I think being able to actually use that content is, for me, such a valuable thing. And I think it's something that does get missed. And also to the point of like booking, like there's so many free booking services out there that allow you to capture the data as well. So there's a lot of simplicity in doing that space as well, isn't it?
Totally. And like again, think about what. So you've got Eventbrite, you've got Human. Pick a
Pick
ticketing.
one, yeah.
Pick a ticketing thing. They're great because they allow you to do all the things, but then just learn how to use it, right? Like map out that journey. Think about the person who's coming along rather than thinking about what are you, because I think our greatest challenge when it comes to any marketing, and that's why it's good to have somebody external come in and look at your processes, because we spend so much time in the what do I do? We do this, we do this, we do this. So essentially you're always thinking in features rather than thinking of benefits.
Yeah.
And the features that's what our product or service does. And the benefits is how it's going to benefit the user. How's it going to benefit the person? And always if you're thinking from the perspective of the customer rather than perspective of your business, you end up creating a much better marketing campaign. But it can just be really challenging because all you're thinking about is how do I provide the service or product that I provide?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it do? How does it do it?
And the shift is the big difference.
Yeah. It's the why.
Yeah, the why.
Why.
And the value. Like I think that's the thing. I've done a couple of talk style events and and I think for me, I just want to make sure that, what I deliver is adding value to people's days, because they are taking time out of it. Even if it's a free event, you are taking time out of their day, which they could be more productive doing other things. So it's just how do you bring value? Well, it depends what time of the day it is.
What's really interesting is the research shows that people go to events for the purposes of connecting with others. Right? And we always think, oh my goodness, if I'm running an event, I have to give them so much information.
Yeah.
And then they got information overload.
Yeah.
But their purpose of being there, especially in person, they just want to connect with other people.
Yeah. And
they will have a great time and they will remember you if you do your due diligence in the follow-up.
Yeah. And that's the bit that, can sometimes be forgotten as well. That follow-up
a lot of the
piece.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, follow-up wise, like it just, and that's kind of where, like if I think about one of the clients that I just started with me last month, they came to one of our events early last year, and it was just follow up. It's almost 2 years, but it was the follow-up that they went, oh, yeah, cool, let's have that catch up there at the right time.
People aren't ready to buy when you want to sell.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're not selling like consumable stuff,
that's it.
And if for me, it's when they're ready and it's the right time. So I like that, and I think it's interesting, good one for people to start to think about, and the value in it too. It's really, really important.
Yeah, and events are probably one of the more highly stressful ways of marketing.
Yeah.
But they're also some of the most viable ways of marketing.
Yeah.
Events enable you to have that organic conversation. They enable you to be visible in front of your ideal person. However, the challenge with an event is it's got a specific date.
Yeah.
You do marketing ongoing. You like, all right, so we didn't reach our KPIs with how many followers or likes we have this month, but But you spent all of this time marketing your event and you don't have enough people at that event, or you don't have any people at that event, and you start to feel like a failure. Yeah, because when people say, I don't want to come to your birthday, you get sad.
That's why you gotta make sure the party bag's good.
That's it.
Geez, kids and party bags. Oh my Lord. They love it. You mentioned you're writing a book.
Yes.
Or you're planning on writing a book, or you're starting a book?
I have started a book.
Can I ask what it's about?
Yeah, it's called Why Not You? And it's really around how can you build and launch your presence, starting with the mindset of why not you? Because we all think of, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So why not you? And then how do you shift from the why not you to why not you? And then start to be able to build that presence and launch yourself into the marketplace.
And what's the journey like writing a book? Because that's something that I've read a few books in my life, and I always sort of look at it like it's how long you been writing it for so far?
Look, I think I feel like I'm taking I've got 7 chapters.
Yeah.
I have been sort of dabbling with it for the last couple of months, but I kind of went down the pathway of trying to leverage AI and then not leveraging AI. So I put all of so I've transcribed every presentation I've ever recorded. I've transcribed all of my content. I have got both talks that are on personal growth and then also on business development, and kind of put that into ChatGPT. It wrote the first chapter was actually quite good, and then we kind of went back and forth and then started to dilute itself. And so I'm at a point where I've got these 7 chapters, and my plan is to go whilst I'm in Bali to actually do a bit more hands-on writing rather than or talking to or something and working out what's a process. Yeah. Because it's so tempting to just go, hey, ChatGPT, you wrote my book for me. Here's all my stuff.
And so you see that all the time, right? There's quite a few books there that and you sort of, and I guess, I don't know, I guess I have this like romantic view on writing, typewriter and sitting there, nothing else around you and typing, whereas that's changed so much now, right? Yeah, no one does that, right? Yeah.
But I think it's
Who's
also,
got a typewriter there?
Yeah, well, that's true too. And then what do you do with it? Then you lose a page. You've lost a page.
Yeah. I always see in the movies, I've got the manuscript. I've got the please read this, but don't lose any pages.
Yeah, I think I will get back to you on that. I've spoken to quite a few authors around, because we're sort of dealing with book launches and how did they go down the pathway of writing. Some people I wrote all myself. Some people I wrote it myself. I had ChatGPT edit it. Some I had AI help me write it. I think the biggest challenge is making sure that you've got your own authentic voice in there, but they still have to be your stories.
Yeah.
Right, because all that makes a book interesting is what are your life experiences interwoven into the story. Like within Speakers Institute, it's about the metaphor.
Yeah.
And it's just like your story is just the metaphor for your idea or how your idea solves the problem. And that's all that stories are, because that's how we learn, right? You envision it, you see it, and then you can go, oh, cool. That's why this has happened, and this is why the next part is what the next part is in this story that we are weaving and creating.
No, look, I'm looking forward to finding out more from there. And besides the book, what's 2026 looking like for you?
2026.
What's coming up?
Well, so we are obviously building out our agency. So Launcha Launcha.marketing.
Yeah.
We've got a team currently of 4 people, and plus my business partner and myself. So 4 people within 6 people within the team.
Cool.
I think we're almost at a point where we need to engage at least one more person. So that will be good. And really looking at where do we cross the boundary between leveraging AI to support our team, and how much can we reduce the workload for them? That's really been our biggest challenge, because as we've discussed with events, there is a lot of moving steps, but a lot of those moving steps can be automated. Yeah. So we're trying to work out how do we automate and at what point.
So we have an AI first sort of mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we started the opposite. So we've got these are our people, these are our process. Now what can we take off their hands and plug in technology? And I think the biggest challenge is chasing humans.
Yeah.
So that's probably we want to grow the agency, make sure that we have a good ongoing space there. We're relaunching Flintt back into the marketplace. So I just had a meeting with both teams actually before I came here. We're looking to re-engage our past users towards the end of this month, and then getting some feedback and relaunching first quarter next year.
Talk me through Flintt, because I was sort of looking at my notes, and the whole model sort of mentions unlimited content.
Yeah, so Flintt has been developed in order to help you to repurpose long-form content.
Okay.
So what that would look like. So the original version was, I said I just do Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
So I do a Facebook Live. I take that Facebook Live, I would transcribe it, and then I would teach people how to do it in a way, like actually create the content in a way that makes it easy to transcribe, to get out of it your, title posts.
Yep.
Your subtitle posts. Your quotes come straight out of that. Your call to action comes straight out of that, and any facts come out of that, because that's how you used to do content. So essentially, that was the first thing: is you'd record a video, you write your blog, copy, and then it's actually developed to use that information and cut it up in a way that is very much your way of speaking.
Yeah.
Before ChatGPT sort of came out onto the scene.
Yep.
And then we developed, so we essentially currently have 3 different campaign types. We've got your education campaign, which is all around your long form from your educational content. We've got an event campaign where it automatically takes your landing page and then creates your email marketing, your social media content using your brand, your colours, etc. Posting it onto your socials, and you just have to approve it. So it basically takes out the need to have an assistant across all platforms.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it does your standard sort of normal social media scheduling as part of that. And then we're going to be embedding videos into that, etc. But we want to just launch with a point where it enables you as a business to have on like pre-created non-wow content, right? Because when we think about social media, all people generally think about is how can I get a viral post?
Yeah.
But when you're first discovered, right, let's just say, I don't know, I just met you. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on your social media. I'm not going to look for your viral posts. I'm going to look at your posts.
Yeah.
And if you are a business, I'm going to look at your content that's going to help me understand about your business. And are you actually visible on social media? Are you posting? Do you have like, what are your services? Who is your team? Do you have opening or closing hours if you're a bricks and mortar store? How do we get in touch with you? Do you have promotions coming up? This stuff can be just constantly pushed out without, and you can pre-create that and have that going out onto your socials ongoing.
Yeah.
So Flintt has really been developed to help you create like more content, less effort, the click of a button.
That's awesome. And I mean, and I think it's one of those, being in a world of creating content that takes me hours to get a few hundred views. Yeah, if you can have those non-wow sort of content, just feed it.
Just feed it.
Yeah, and I think because that's all you need sometimes, just to feed it.
Yeah. And the algorithm likes it when you're consistent. And unfortunately, you can't always be like you're a human being, right? You can't always be like, yay, today I'm going to create like every Monday I'm going to be in my best mental health space to be like the most engaging. I'm going to create awesome content every Monday.
Yeah, not going to.
Or not. That's it.
Yeah.
But like, you can go, hey, here's my website landing page. Here's my brand colors. Here's what I want to talk about. Can you just create content for me and pre-schedule it over the next 3 months so that it is there and available. So even when I don't feel like doing it,
it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
That's why you have teams doing things for you. Like I remember the first time I hired a VA and like I remember being out at lunch and then I got a notification saying blah, 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 just commented on your post. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even post it. Like, ooh, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the vision came from. It's like, oh, how do you – and I'm not a developer, so I've had to like find a team, find people, get them on board on the vision. Like they've built out – we've just engaged our 3rd developer.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got, a team of 5 or 6 people. Some are on equity, some are just there to support because they love the vision. Some have been there from the start. Some are being paid. The majority are co-founders that are there for sweat equity.
Nice. That's cool. Keen to see where they're going. Yeah, keep me posted on that.
I will keep you posted. I will keep you posted.
I do want to create a content machine for this podcast. So if that happens, let me know. Because, I've got long form.
Yeah, that's right. You do. You do have long form.
And by the end of this year, I'm going to have 14, 15 episodes. And the plan for 2026 is to then just start to release it. I've got the accounts sitting there. Just going like, okay, now I need to release. But I don't want to release it without having a runway of content in front of me to know then I just need to top it up, but not have to top it up every week because that's when it becomes hard. Yeah,
that's interesting because I work with a company or some people that coach people on podcasting and they sort of batch their podcast recordings. They'll do 3 months in advance. So they'll batch the episodes so that they are able to then sit down and prep for the release marketing strategy. So they don't have to do it all the time. You kind of batch them, pre-schedule, go live your life.
Yeah, that's true. I'll have to work on that bit. At the moment, no, I'm sort of a few weeks ahead.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. But at the same time, yeah, it would be nice to go like, okay, I've got 3 months scheduled out.
Why do you do this?
Why?
Yeah. What's your
My wife for the podcast.
Yeah.
I initially started to create short form video,
Mm-hmm.
but also I love it, right? Like, so for me, I feel like it's just, I like this, having these conversations. It's fun, sharing people's stories, things like that. But my practical side of me is like it's great content.
Yeah.
It's great. And that's why I want the video. I want that because I know I can repurpose it. But I think it's just ultimately it's a creative outlet for me.
What's your call to action at the end of this? It's a lot of time, energy, and effort.
Yes,
right?
I know, right? I know. And this is where I think like when I started, it was purely audio podcasts. And then within the first 4 episodes, I'm like, no, I need to get the video out there. So I found
richest form of media you can get, right?
Yeah. So then I got the video because I recorded pretty much all of them except one I have video for. And then now I'm doing the video ones. Okay, now I've got the video ones. And so initially I was just posting purely on my LinkedIn. And I'm like, it's diluting what I'm doing as an EOS implementer. So when I registered
what's EOS?
EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system. So it's the way to structure and run your business. So that's kind of what I do.
So I'm asking, I always ask these questions. I'm like, how do you make money?
Yeah. So I mean, it's basically think business coach. But it's a framework that's been tried and tested.
Right.
So it's not my framework. It's a framework that's been used by 250,000 businesses around the world.
Great.
And I love it. So I've run on it, and now I help people implement it.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I do. And I guess this ultimately, as a podcast, allows me to reach more people.
Yep.
As through your network, through everyone's network, because everyone shares the podcast, they hear me talk. It's just a way of reaching. And I think the truest way, it's a great way to build trust with people.
100%.
Because I talk to you, you talk to me. We sort of, it's a conversation. We're not sitting there speaking to a mic trying to sell something. So I think if people don't like me, they'll quickly work it out.
That's
and if
true.
they like me, they quickly work it out as well. So I think it's just it's one of those things where people can find out about me because meeting people in person is the best way to build trust. Like spending time in networking is great, and that's why I love my networking. But it's just me. I'm the sales team, I'm the marketing team, I'm the finance team, I'm the operations team. So I can't be at every single networking event and follow up. So this gives me that ability.
And it's amazing when people get like starstruck because they've been listening to somebody who is visible. It's, that's why I just love the idea of constantly building presence for people. And the thing is what always gets in the way is our idea of us thinking I'm not good enough for this. Yeah. That's all it is, right?
But that's where I was at.
That's
I was there for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I had this gear sitting here for 2 years.
Well, I'm glad.
And I had to wait.
That you're doing this.
It was a little bit of a self going, okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to do it.
What made you feel like you're ready?
I think it was, 2 years running, 2 years as an EOS implementer. So like this month was my 2-year anniversary. I started this about 3 months ago, but I think it's just self-confidence in myself to know. And I knew I could do it, but I had to prove it to myself. But then also the ability to speak about EOS and what I do quite fluently comes in time as well. I find now that it just sort of I'm in the matrix, so to speak. Right, so I was fine in the matrix for the first year, and I'm working with some amazing teams. But now it's just like cool. So I haven't had any of my clients come in yet. So I'm really keen to get some of my clients in there because they're the ones where I can get a really good conversation going as well. But ultimately, it's just finding that thing and then just going like, cool, now's the time, and here we are.
I think I just reversed our
Look, it's been really cool to talk to you and find out so much. And I know I'm looking at my show notes and they're kind of gone everywhere. But thank you so much for coming on.
It's been great. I love having these conversations.
It was so good.
It's just really, really enjoyable to talk to other people that want to do something that's great in the world. Yeah,
that's it. And look, I think I know that people have got a whole lot out of this one. And hopefully sometime next year we might come down and together and do a deep dive on a topic as well.
Yeah.
So something I'm looking at doing is a few deep dive topics.
Oh, yeah.
Because we spent a bit of time on the backstory, but if we can go bang, let's come in. Let's go talk about something in just find a topic that we can teach people with, that'd be awesome.
All right, I'm in.
Awesome. Anna, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
all the best for 2026.
Yeah, you too. I'm sure we'll keep talking and catch up. And I'm going to check out EOS and see what you guys do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.